Okay, 920 Mastermind, day 13 of the 21 days to inner wealth and total transformation. Today's topic is one that I am an expert in. It took me 42 years to find the right coach and the right mentor and the right advisor to say to me, Fred, you don't have any clue. You don't even understand. You're nothing more than a master codependent and a benevolent dictator. And that's when they helped me start cutting the chains of codependency so I could really understand what it meant to be totally free. Today, I want you to focus on this. You don't have to fix yourself and others or make anyone happy, because the reason it said fix others or make anyone happy, I added yourself. There's nothing to fix. We are so well together in our soul intelligence, in our inner being, in our intrinsic value. But the problem is it's so buried with bad belief system, bad habits of thought, bad patterns of thought, and all that stuff. So the thing we need to focus on is our own personal growth and personal development, self-development, that we become the best versions of ourselves, and that's their only focus. And that job in and of itself takes 3 lifetimes. So when are we going to stop being so codependent? And codependent people they think it means that you're dependent upon other people. No, just the opposite. You're dependent upon the whole world to get taken care of first before you get taken care of. It's like standing before the stove of life and saying, give me heat and I'll give you some wood. Is that you're just looking at all the wrong things. And then what happens is that you're setting yourself on fire so others could be warm. And people are taking the warmth from your fire and exhausting you. So codependency is they claim that all addiction, all real serious mental health issues, a lot of it is so rooted in codependency. I encourage you, if you're not familiar with what it is, someone says everyone is codependent in one form or another. Some are just much greater than others. And if there's any issues in your life, any unhappiness with any area of your life, there's codependency there somewhere. So the thing I want you to do today is focus on your growth and allow others the space to evolve as well and to do their thing. On defalco.com on the homepage is that habits of thoughts assessment. You get back 44 pages. It's such a powerful tool. It's the most incredible tool I've seen in 50 years of personal development, personal growth. And you'll get back 44 pages to help you understand where some of this stuff lies. And we got to release it. We just will be so imprisoned in chains. And it's what it's like. It's like being chained. Take a moment to reflect on your relationships and ask yourself, do I feel responsible for someone else's happiness or well-being? Now, I'm not talking about a healthy relationship where you just live to make your significant other happy or your partner happy, and you're happy doing that, and it's a healthy relationship. But I'm talking about where it becomes unhealthy and it's just not comfortable. Do I often put their needs ahead of mine, even when it leaves me feeling drained? That's when you know there's codependency going on. Do I feel guilty or anxious when someone is unhappy, believing it's my job to fix it? Do I find it hard to act or set limits because I fear they will be upset or those around me won't like it? When I set some limits. If you answered yes to any of these, you may be exhibiting signs of codependency, recognizing this is the first step toward releasing it. You've got to recognize things before you can release them. Get your 44-page report on habits of thought and see where some of these sabotaging habits of thought lie. What would happen if you allowed space to allow life and others to figure things out on its own? What would happen to you? How would it feel to focus only on your growth instead and still be okay with others' growth or lack of growth? I think some of you have heard me before. I've do weddings sometimes for couples, and when I come to do their vows, I don't let them look at each other. I bring a gift, a big gift bag. I shouldn't give this away in public in case you ever invite me to do one of your weddings. But I pull out these big mirrors that I buy them the day before, and I have them look in the mirror and they vow to themselves they would never depend on the other person to make them happy or fulfill them. But they were going to become, and they're vowing that they're going to become the best version of themselves. If it's a man and a woman, the man vowing that I will be the best man in the world. I will work on the best version of me. So she will be so happy and satisfied with the person she's with. That's so important, folks. This is such an important topic if you truly want to transform anything and everything in your life and have that inner wealth. Starting the day, take a small step back from trying to fix someone or everyone else's problem. Instead, choose one area of your life where you can focus on your personal growth. A goal, without goals, then you have everybody else's goals. A habit that you want to change, a self-care practice, and take action on it. Just one. Just take one today. This will help you break the cycle of codependency and embrace your own evolution while allowing others to evolve at their own pace. Oh, one of the other thing. Oh, I didn't give you the poem here. What happened to my poem? 1 second. I got to find the poem. If you're not familiar with this, if you're a couple, especially now, this talks about the woman, and it could be reversed, right? But look this story up. I won't take time and read it for. It's such a great story, though. I love this story. I'm going to read it. Hopefully, the story of the two codependents crossing the water. Once upon a time, there were two couples, Claire and John, who found themselves standing at the edge of a vast river. Both wanted to cross the water to reach a beautiful meadow on the other side. When they heard people living freely and joyfully, they said, "We got to get that. We want to live freely and joyfully." But the river was deep, and neither one of them knew how to swim confidently. Claire, always fearful of making decisions alone, turned to John and said, "I can't do this without you. I'll only cross if you promise to hold me up the whole way." John, who had spent most of his life feeling responsible for others, replied, "Of course, Claire, I'll carry you across. Don't you worry." And so they set off together. John, burdened with Claire's weight, struggled with each step. The water was rough and his legs trembled as the current pushed against them. Claire clung tightly to John and afraid to let go, convinced that without his support she would drown. At first, John reassured her, but as the waters became deeper and the current stronger, he grew tired. His back ached, his legs grew weak, and his breath became shallow. All the while, Clara clung even tighter, fearful of every ripple, every wave, never noticing John's growing exhaustion. As they reached the middle of the river, John could no longer carry her weight. "Clara, I can't do this alone anymore. You need to help me or we'll both drown." I almost was going to change this, but I didn't want to take the liberty and reverse it because John was the one afraid of the water, because that's such a common thing in relationships. To men, I'm sorry, we got to man it up. We got to man it up, my friends. But Clara, consumed by her fear, cried out, "You can't let go. If you let go, I won't make it. You've promised to carry me." John hesitated. He wanted to help her, but he realized that if he continued carrying her, neither of them would make it. They would both be pulled under by the weight of their fear and the current strength. At that moment, John had a realization. "Clara, I'm not doing you any favors by carrying you. You're strong enough to swim, but you're too scared to see it." Claire's grip loosened slightly and she began to feel the water around her. "But what if I can't do it on my own?" "You'll never know unless you try," John said, letting her down gently into the water. "I'll be here with you, but you have to swim for yourself." Clara, terrified at first, began to paddle. She struggled with each stroke, but as she moved, she started to feel her own strength. John swam beside her, no longer burdened, and both of them made steady progress toward the other side. As they reached the meadow, Claire looked back at the river. "I thought I needed you to carry me, but I realize now I just needed to believe I could swim." John smiled and said, "All I needed to let go of thinking it was my job to carry you." They both stood in the meadow, free of the burdens they had placed on each other. They realized that by trying to fix or carry one another, they had only slowed their progress. By letting go, they had both found the strength to make it to the other side, stronger, freer, and more at peace with themselves. And from that day forward, they walked beside each other, not as burdens, but as individuals, supportive yet independent, free to grow and evolve. Folks, this is such a story of it doesn't just have to be a love story or a couple or that applies to so many other areas of life. So focus on your own growth today. This is day 13. Break free of those chains and focus on that growth. Thanks for participating, and go to defalco.com, take that free habit finders assessment. If you want to see where your areas are sabotaging you and you're missing out on some marvelous, beautiful growth opportunities, it'll point it all out to you. It'll give you a 44-page roadmap to cut this out and to be free, to be who you are truly meant to be. Thanks for being here, and join the 920 Mastermind from the same site, defalco.com, up at the top. Look up 920 Society. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.